the rematch. Let's talk about the rematch. Let me tell you something, George. 20,000 people in that stadium. You know what they were chanting. Now, you have memories of the brick. I have nightmares of chants. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Chants. The Canadians, so nice, right, Christian? Fuck you, Serra.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
Loud. I'm loud. Ray Longo's louder than me. Between the first and second round, I didn't hear a word.
I couldn't hear Bruce Buffer announcing her name. It was Matt, I fought in Toronto in front of more than 50,000 people. Montreal crowd that night was the loudest I ever seen in my entire life. Like, it was insane. We shared that moment together. Man, it was insane. Like,
yeah, we shared more than that. I shared your elbow in my face. Let's talk about.
I share your fist in my face.
Let's talk about the fight now, because hey, I talked about my moment in the sun. That's it, a million times, because everybody knows how great you are, and you only lost twice, and you never lost again, going down in history. And the rematch, so much pressure. Was this the first time in Canada?
It was the first time in Canada. Yeah, it was in Montreal the first time. And going into that fight, my strategy. Now I knew you were a good striker. So I was like, so my strategy was to use my reach and keep my strike, like mix the feet to floor, of course, if you over aggressive, but also mix my strike, but in a straight line, because the way you cut me, it's when I was close, and you cut me with the looping punch that came outside my field of vision, and you hit really hard with that punch. I study a lot of your video before that fight, and I saw you cut Caro Parisian, and you hit very hard. And even one of our training partner that we have in common, Mark Colangelo, was telling me that you hit really hard with that crazy punch too. I think you broke his jaw.
I broke his jaw. I broke that poor guy. I broke his jaw with the 16-ounce gloves. So that does give you confidence. So, George, when the fight started, I remember looking across the cage, and I remember you did, first of all, you did your push-ups for that fight. You looked like a fucking bull, and you were bouncing up and down, and you were in the zone, because I remember I put up the hand to go, we're gonna touch gloves. At first you went, okay. Like you were almost like you thought I was messing with you at first with something. You're like, oh, okay, that type of thing. So then we did, and I remember I'm like, he gets close, I'm gonna fire right there. I'm gonna go below his shoulders. I'm gonna fire a right hand. Now I'm not that slow, but God, man, your timing that night made me look a lot slower than I am. And because timing is everything. And you're so explosive. So the second I shot the right, you went right underneath. Now listen, George. I remember expecting to be on bottom a little bit. So I'm like, when he plays tight with me, and I never did it before, and I wanted to do it. Dude, I don't have Kenny Florian elbows, all right? So I remember when your head's there, I'm like, I'm going to push and just snap fucking elbows, and then I'll get on the offense with my guard. I pushed your head, and I hit you with an elbow. I fucked my ulnar nerve. Ulnar nerve.
Oh, God.
Ulnar nerve? Anyway.
Yeah,
dude, and then you forced half guard. It felt like my arm from my elbow down, I couldn't, like somebody, I have a dead hand, like you're sleeping on your hand. So I felt like my hand is gone. You're forcing half guard. Chance of fuck you, Serra. I go, this is going horrible. This is what I expected. So, hey, man, I did some good job. I did a good job the first round of reclaiming guard a few times, of not getting totally worked over. I might have got back to my feet once, if I remember. I didn't watch it a lot.
No, you did.
You know what I mean? But this is what people must understand. There's a defeat. The most exhausting thing is up and down and up and down. Dude, I was shot by the second round, man. I don't know what my endurance was going. And then you landed, and I did, and then again, you got me down. I reclaimed guard again, and there was a perfectly placed elbow forearm to my orbital / nose that that literally fucked me up. That said, all right, man, I'm fucked up. Let me go to all fours. People make a big deal about the knees were fucking dramatic. Hey, that looked good that looked great. Those knees you were dropping on me, I'm going to be honest, I was feeling more the face. And a few knees later, it stopped. How did you feel? I felt like shit, but how did you feel, my friend, with that well-deserved victory?
For me, it was one of the best moments of my career because it was in Montreal, the first fight I had in Montreal with the UFC. And I remember that the next day, I was on the front page of one of the newspaper like this, and it was written, because in Canada, hockey is our national sport, it was written, "The Barbarian overthrown the Montreal Canadian for a record of crowd." And I was like, these same reporter that treat me of Barbarian are now the one calling me for interviews. That is funny, but they were uneducated at the time.
Wait, I was the Barbarian?
We were all Barbarians.
No, man, George, you know what's funny about the Canadians? The chance to fuck you, Serra, but then after that, after you reclaimed your glory, they were the nicest people to me after that. I mean, they were like, "Hey, Serra, there you are." I'm like, "Hey, guys, thanks."
Yeah.
My eyes black. I got big glasses on.